Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this episode of Yona of the Dawn. Episode 18, Ties. I may have fangirled a lot at the Green Dragon joining us in the last episode because it was amazing. And also because it's signifying that there may be a kidnap rescue Hak arc. I'm fine with this. I think everybody's fine with this. I really love the Green Dragon Jiha so far. He's wonderful. He is flirty. He is tough like Hak. He is independent. He is taking no blood of Yona, and I'm kind of here for this perspective. I like the fact that he's a pirate, that his pirate captain is a like boss lady, like girl boss. Love it. And the fact that he's infatuated with Hak. Everybody's infatuated with Hak. But we're on episode 18, so officially we really only have 6 episodes left of the season after that. And we still haven't met the yellow dragon either. So, I get what y'all were saying. Y'all were saying that this is just setting up the show, and then it ends, and then it's like, well, what do we do now? So I'm like, I'm really excited that I get to read the manga after this and react to it because I know I'm going to want to. I know the first 8 volumes covers the anime, and I just finished volume 4, which covered right up to Echoes of Fear. So that's where we're at. So I'm probably going to wait a little bit longer till I'm going to probably wait a few episodes before reading volume 5, because several of you have noted that episodes 16 and 15 take place after the events of the Green Dragon. So I'm probably going to wait until our whole Green Dragon arc, however long that takes, is finished before starting volume 5, just to be safe. But anyway, oh my gosh, he was wonderful. I fangirled so much, and I've been so excited. It's only been a couple days, and I was like, I can't wait. I want to dive into episode 18. So, with that being said, we're not going to waste any more time. I'm like, we're just going to dive right into this and see what what our pirates are up to, right? So, let's do this, shall we? We are going to start episode 18 of Yona of the Dawn here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay. This episode was so good. I'm a major fan of the Green Dragon. Such a major fan. I'm so smitten. Yeah, the Green Dragon's great. I think the Green Dragon gets even better because of his interactions with the other characters, especially Hak. Like, Hak is like, especially the whole, like, let us establish Hak is very much heterosexual for Yona. Everyone else is bi for Hak, but Hak is not. It's not reciprocated. No. Hak has only Hak is Yona-sexual. He has only got hearts for Yona, and it's like, very much so. But this episode was so good. Oh my gosh. I like I said in the ending, I feel like there's lots of little things being set up with Jiha's conversation with everybody, especially Kija, that is going to come out in the manga later on and come back to. And I'm really excited about that. That has me really, really excited. But, oh my gosh. Just... I'm so ready to see what all happens with this. So Gigan has a test for Yona that's supposedly life-threatening to consider. I was mad at Yona because I'm like, girl, you can shoot a bow. You're good with a bow. Why aren't you saying that? Put that out there. You've been practicing 200 arrows a night for like the last 6 months. Like, come on. But she doesn't think that that's good enough. It's like... But yeah, this episode, it did not go the way I thought it would. I'm also realizing, rewatching the episode, that one guy has the beady eyes to begin with. It's not just a reaction to Yona. But yeah, so I thought they were going to kidnap Hak. No, Jiha has too much class for such things, right? But just put it out there. He talked about Hak and said he was handsome, and he had to recruit him, and Hak's like, I just love Hak is like, leave me alone. So the whole thing with the shop owner is interesting, and the officials messing with the shop, because we have it set up right at the beginning there that there's this issue with the shop, and they have the fight with the officials, and rather than step in and stop the fight from happening, they choose to run away and hide instead. And I like they left poor Blue, our boy Blue, they left him behind. This series does an amazing job with like the chibi versions of them and like the very shoujo, like restless lines or nervous lines or like sad line work on them. Like they do such a good job. They do it again with Jiha and Hak later when they're burning the portraits that are so ugly of them. It's great. But yeah, so they have the shop and they choose to run away and hide instead of stand up because they're afraid of getting caught. And it's like Three Stooges where Yona's like, I'll go in. And Kija's like, no, I'll go in. And Hak's like, no, I'll go in. And then Yoon's like, we're not doing anything. So really, and Yoon was right. They should play it safe because they're all very conspicuous and wanted. And if they were saw by the officials, it would have been a big thing. And it would have got out of hand very quickly. But the downfall is because they hid, because they didn't want to get caught, then this kid dies. And I can't believe they actually murdered a child. Like, they actually straight up killed this kid and was like, okay, you've committed child murder. It's over now. It's on. I just can't believe that. That's so crazy. But yeah, that's exactly what happens. And the officials are on edge because the pirates sank one of Kumji's ships last night. It's like, yeah, but that's not an excuse to kill a kid. And then Yoon's like, we have to lie low because we're so conspicuous anyway. It's like, But yeah, the whole thing of Hak seeing his wanted poster. And so, of course, they've included Hak because he attacked that official that was with the girl in the last couple episodes. But yeah, old Jiha, laughing about the poster. And then Hak coming up behind him. And I just, oh my God, the whoa and ha ha ha. It was very much Victor from Yuri on Ice. That's all I could think of in this episode was that his voice actor draws a lot from Victor in this. And it's so wonderful. I absolutely love it. It's so great. And poor Hak. Hak is like, I just don't want anything to do with you at all. I find you annoying. And then, yeah, and Jiha doesn't help. He's like, can't we go somewhere in private? And everybody's like murmuring like, oh my gosh, scandal. But yeah, no, I love the idea that as fate would have it, he trips on the roof shingle. His leg trips on the roof shingle and he lands in the pot, and that's why he can't get out. And he gets caught by Kija. I think that's so, it's fate, right? It seems like it's fate. But he says, he's like, okay. He's like, so I don't want to be near the white dragon, but I'm not going to let my prey escape. He's like, I'm not going to give up on Hak just because he's with that girl and the white dragon's following him. No, I'll secure Hak by himself on my own. It's totally fine. And then, yeah, as the episode goes on, he just trips and falls. He's like, I need to try convincing him. And then senses the presence of Yona and the white dragon. But yeah, it's great. So I wanted to go back to that whole scene where he's explaining his past to the white dragon. But before that, we have the kid dying and Yona saying, there's nothing really I can do. And I want to point out that she says, her and Hak take it upon themselves. They're like, if this situation was caused by my father's bad judgment, we need to do something about it. So I think that's a huge step, right? Because as everyone's commented with this series so far, and I'm in agreement, King Il may have been a nice person, but he was a terrible king. He did a really bad job. And so it's been hard because you have Suwon's character who is justified in a lot of his actions and seems like he's becoming a good king. But then you have Yona and Hak who are trying to like embrace the memory of her father and honor it. But then here she acknowledges, she's like, yeah, my dad probably wasn't doing a good job. And if this whole situation's caused by him, we have a part to play in rectifying it. It's like, so I really like that. I like the idea that Yona is taking initiative to correct her father's mistakes and try to make good. It has like a very Robin Hood vibe to it, right? Which is what I feel like Yona and Hak might be working towards, is being those Robin Hood figures, that she's not technically the queen on the throne and everything, but she's going to be like a vigilante. And I'm like, okay, vigilante Yona, vigilante Hak, I'm here for it. I'm all here for it. Vigilante dragons, let's do this. But yeah, she's like, is there really nothing I can do? And that framework, this incident with the kid, sets up her wanting to meet Gigan, wanting to get the pirates involved, wanting to stop Kumji and figure out some way to like benefit everybody and make his tyranny stop. So I like that. I like that setup. It's really good. But then, yeah, we cut to the midway point and we have Jiha telling Kija his story. And then saying, that's the first time I've thought of myself as an idiot. Getting stuck in the pot, right? And so then Jiha tells us his past. We get a little bit of exposition here. And I found this part of the episode. I was like, I want to go back and rewatch this. When I was a child, I escaped from the prison that was the Green Dragon Village. So the question is, was it a prison like Kija's village or a prison like Sheena's village? Because by Jiha's logic, it almost sounds like it was like Kija's village, was that they just said that he was going to serve, because Jiha's whole thing is he wants to be free and do his own thing. So I could instantly think that maybe it was something like Kija's village, where everybody told him how the green dragon mythology, because he knows a lot about the mythology, he knows about the other dragons, he knows about Hiryu. So the way that he talks, it sounds like he's learned all of this as a child and just decided, nope. He had the exact opposite reaction of Kija. Kija embraced it and considered it like part of his destiny and part of like the legacy. And Jiha was like, no, I don't want any part of this. And so framing it as a prison is interesting. Very interesting. So when he was a child, he escaped. Okay. And I love that he has his hair like in his hand. He's like, several times uncharacteristically, right? I even concealed my presence so the other dragons wouldn't find me. Then I finally discovered this peaceful place. And I was sure that I could keep running if I had to. Which is funny that he refers to this as a peaceful place when it's like piracy and there's like soldiers and all this bad stuff going on. And to him, that's peaceful. But it's consistent, right? And in the end, the pot fit my butt so perfectly I couldn't move. He's like, I don't care about anything anymore. So he's like, now where were we? Nice to meet you, White Dragon. And he's like, I never wanted to meet you, but clearly you also possess a dragon's blood. Okay. The White Dragon is a beautiful young man as well. So I guess he's like, they're all good looking. It's genetic. It's the power of the gods that you're going to be attractive. And Kija's like, oh, thanks. Thanks for calling me handsome. Okay, bye. Just gets with Jiha and runs off with him. I like the dynamic of Kija and Jiha. I like their dynamic because they're like polar opposites in terms of their sense of duty and in terms of their personality. Kind of. But again, Kija kind of is like Hak in certain ways, and Jiha is kind of like Hak in certain ways. So there is some similarity there. Interesting. But I love that he just takes off running as fast as he can with him. It's great. And Jiha's like, we're attracting all the attention. We need to stop. And then Kija's like, we're bound by fate. I can't believe a green dragon fell from the sky. And he's like, no. It wasn't my fault. It was a bad shingle. No, I did not intend for this to happen. So yeah. And then he kicks the jar. And then Kija's saying, you have quite a strange bottom. He's like, are you calling it fat? Stop. But yeah. I've been looking for you. And he's like, why are we going to talk like this? Jiha's like, I don't want to do this whole fate and destiny. And then Kija's like, our master is waiting for us. My dragon brother, we must protect our master together. And he's so boyish and has the blush and everything. And Jiha's like, oh, you sweet summer child. No. He's like, protect? Why? Is this person a king or something? And Kija's like, well, not at the moment, but and he's like, nope, no interest. Nope. And yeah, I love this. I like my current life and there are things that I want to do. And then, so I won't be following with some stranger who just asked me to come with him. I love it. Yeah. So, and then he does like the tongue thing. He's like, meh. And then Kija's like, what? But you're a dragon. The dragons live and die in order to protect the king. Like, this is prophecy. Thousands of years has passed and our master's finally arrived and you're just going to walk away and not do anything? And so I thought when Kija was talking about we've inherited the blood of the dragons, what I thought Kija was going to say is, because I kind of agree with Kija a little bit about this, is that we've not only inherited the blood, he says we've not only inherited the blood of the dragons, but also the great wish past generations could not fulfill, even if they wanted to. So Kija's like, our ancestors all wanted to protect the king and it didn't happen. So why can't, it should be an honor for us to do this. What I thought Kija was going to mention is the power that the dragons get, because that's a thing too. Jiha's whole thing is, I've got these amazing dragon legs that let me basically fly, and I'm just going to use them. And it's like, that comes with a price, right? You get the dragon's power in exchange for protecting Hiryu that you were originally sent to protect anyway. But he doesn't say that. And Jiha, one of the whole thing with the past generations, Jiha's like, having none of it. It's like, aura. Like, it had to be a dragon puppet who came to find me. Does this great wish of the past dragons include your own thoughts as well? Yeah. If you simply obey orders without question to protect your master, then it's not your greatest wish, but your greatest tragedy. So yeah, he's like, if you're just following what you've been told from birth and the previous generations, what they're telling you, he's like, then it's not your wish at all. It's just theirs. They've just passed it on to you. You're just living out their expectations. And he's like, and that's a tragedy. It's not good. It's bad. So he's like, no, unless you really want to do this yourself, then it's not worth it, right? And I love that just kind of floors Kija, and he's like, oh, poor white dragon. And poor Kija is just like, but what? And then, of course, he runs into Hak, and he just immediately stops. He's like, hi! And I love Hawk's like, ugh. Hawk's like, I can't get away from these perverted people. I'm just trying to do my job, and everybody's in the way. But yeah, that opens up a whole thing about Kija. I feel like the manga is going to expand on this for why Kija follows Yona. And I do think that of all of them, Kija is the most influenced by the blood. I think so. Kija's on board. He's drank the Kool-Aid. He's into it. But Kija's not mindless. He does do things on his own. I would say that it's funny because in terms of the spectrum, we have Kija, who's the most loyal and most in line with the prophecy, because that's what he's been told since birth, and it's viewed it as a positive thing. They viewed it as a positive thing, so he's been on board with it. Then you have Sheena, who, our boy Blue, who has been raised with no inkling of the mythology, and his powers have been considered a negative curse, so he really has no clue what to do, but because he's so clueless, he kind of latches on to Yona because she's like a positive force for him. Makes sense. We have no clue about the yellow dragon. Don't want to know. Don't want spoilers. We have no clue yet. But Jiha is on the opposite end of the spectrum from Kija, where he knows about the mythology, but wants nothing to do with it. Is like, I want free will. I want to do my own thing. I don't want to be a part of a prophecy. I don't want my fate decided for me. He views it as a negative thing. So you have two dragons who have been grown up with the mythology. One views it positively, one negatively. Then you have one dragon that views things, he doesn't know what to think, so he's had is negative reinforcement. So anything positive with Yona, he's going to go for. And then there's the yellow dragon. So it'd be curious if the yellow and blue were opposites. So where maybe the yellow dragon has no inkling about the mythology, but views it in a positive light. It's like, yeah, sure, I've got dragon powers. Let's do this. Okay. I have no clue what the yellow dragon's going to be like, and I don't want to know. I don't want to be spoiled. I want it to be a surprise, but I don't know. He seems like a jovial person in the OP, so I'm like, Like, the green dragon's a trickster, right? And so, yeah, and then we cut back to this whole thing, and that's when he meets Yona. That's when he comes around, and he's like, oh, your master must be quite important to you, telling Hak. And Hak is like, yeah, you have no idea. And Yona gets close enough that the whole green, like the green aura comes out of him. I love this scene. I love this. And Yona's just like, who are you? Hi. And it makes him kneel. Like the dragon blood makes him kneel. And I don't think Kija and Sheena, maybe they did kneel and just didn't realize it. But yeah, but the dragon blood affects him. He can't control it. And the funny thing is, he's like, and I like that we actually get to see his feet. It's a dragon's foot. It's like Kija, right? So Sheena has the eyes, which are very easy to hide. A dragon's foot's not easy to hide, but he has those special boots. So they must be some really good leather, I'm assuming. But my whole leg tingles. So his leg looks like that of a dragon's. I like that we have each body part. We have the eyes, we have the arm, we have the legs. I'm curious what the yellow dragon has. I guess maybe the like torso or body, because it said in the mythology they couldn't be struck with a sword. They were like a shield. Interesting. But yeah, he has the fever. And I like that Yona touches him and does the whole thing where she's like, oh, you're burning up. And that's how, by touching him, I think that's how she knows that he's the green dragon, which is really cool. It's adding to the mythology that she gets to like push his hair back and do that. I love it. And he wants to get away, but he can't move around her. She's like completely stopped him. He's like, why is it so difficult for me to pull away? And then, yeah, so he's convinced himself. He's like, no, he's like, these feelings are not yours. They're the dragon blood. It's fine. And yeah, he's not wrong in this instant. In this instance, he has to kneel before her because of the blood. That's like part of it. And he's convinced himself, he's like, these feelings are not my own. They're just the dragon blood. So I can be fine. I can move past it. It's great. Which I'm glad he's self-aware, right? I'm glad he's self-aware. He's like, I wanted nothing more to do with you. And so he tells, yeah, and I love he says her image and voice are like a sweet seduction. Like, it's very tempting, right? He's very tempted by her. And he's like, I'm not going to fall for it. My womanizing ways, I'm not going to fall for it. It's all a trap. It's a trap. Nope. It's only the dragon blood inside of me that makes me feel this way. He's like, I'm better than it. These are not my own feelings. Okay. And so then he's very polite and he's like, I'm not going to follow you. Bye. And she doesn't make him. She's like, I'm really disappointed. And she's like, it feels hard. It's hard. I don't know why it's so hard for me to like pull away from you all and when you ask to leave. And it's because of the blood. It's affecting her too. I just don't think to as big of an extent because she is the reincarnated embodiment of Hiryu. At least that's my theory. Yeah. And so she's like, you don't try to intimidate me. She's like, if you don't want to join me, you don't have to. And he's like, okay. Wasn't expecting that. And she's like, I'll give up on you if you really don't want to join us. She's like, I'm not issuing a command. I'm just asking for a favor. They just joined me because they wanted to. But if you don't want to join me, it's fine. Which we obviously know he's going to join her. Obviously. But that will be interesting if he joins her of his own volition. Because if he follows her, after this point, if he follows her, then it's going to be his decision, not necessarily the blood. Which is interesting. Very interesting. So I'm curious to know, as we go on with this story, if in the manga, all 4 of these dragons have to at some point realize, because that was part of the mythology. When Hiryu died, the mythology's like, was it the dragons, did the 4 men weep for Hiryu because it was the dragon blood making them cry, or did they weep because they actually formed a bond with Hiryu? And I think that's going to be the big crux in this story, is all 4 of these dragons are going to form a bond with Yona, and they're going to genuinely like her, and it's not going to be the dragon's blood that made them like her. It's going to be their own volition. I think Blue will be the easiest for that to happen because Blue really has no tie to the dragon blood whatsoever. So he's kind of a blank slate to start with. So I feel like he would be the first to come to the realization that he does like Yona for who she is and not because she's the queen or reincarnation of King Hiryu. And I feel like for Jiha, it's going to be obvious when he comes to this conclusion because he's trained himself to know the difference between the blood making a decision and him making a decision. So him and Blue, I feel like are going to come to that conclusion pretty easily, maybe. And then I feel like Kija is going to be the one that's going to hit it hardest because he's, had all this indoctrination growing up. And then the Yellow Dragon, I just don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with them. But yeah, he just, he says, I'll take you to my captain if Hak comes too. And Hak's like, God, I can't catch a break. And then they all agree to go. And I like that she's asking Yoon to stay behind, and Yoon's like, no. Like, don't mock me, I'm going. And then there's this whole part with Hak there at the end, where she has the conversation, they're about to go, and Hak is like, are you sure you want to give up on having him join us? And she's like, well, if Jiha doesn't want to, I don't have a choice. And he's like, you're so understanding. He's like, you could. And here's the thing, Hak is getting around the point that Yona could make the dragons follow her, but she doesn't because she's kind. She doesn't make them do that. And he's like, you weren't so understanding when I tried to leave the Wind Tribe and you demanded that I be yours. He's like, why am I different than the dragons? And I love her response. She's like so flustered. She's like, well, and he's like, what? He's like, princess? And she's like, shut up, you're different. And that face he makes when she says different, I never want to see that face again. That snaky face, that little trickster face. He's like, oh, what? Really? He's like, different how? She's like, it's not worth discussing. Don't dig up the past. I love their banter. It's like, come to think of it, you did say I was the only one who could stay by your side. Uh-huh. And she's just like, I hate this side of you. Quit being flirty. I love it. I love this side of them. I'm like, please flirt and banter and prove my OTP right. And Yoon's like, okay, fine, break it up. Food's done. And so, yeah, they go to the ship. And, of course, they challenge all of them. And the 3 of them take them all out. And Jiha's like, basically, it would be like having 3 of me. Meaning the Hak has the power of a dragon, which I love. I'm very curious. Don't spoil me, but I'm always going to wonder if, like, the Thunder Beast has some tie in the mythology, or if Hak's just a super strong dude that just happened to be born at the same time as Yona and all these other dragons. I'm so curious to know if there's something with the Thunder Beast in the mythology, or if Hak's just his own person. I would like it to be not in the mythology, though. I'd like to think the Hak is just the Raiju is just his nickname and it's just Hak is his own man and he has nothing to do with the mythology, because that would mean he's there by his own volition. That would be kind of cool, but I don't know. So yeah, again, I felt bad that Yona couldn't just say that she could do the bow and arrow, because even Yoon's like, I don't like violence, but I can pretty much do everything else. Yoon's a prodigy. I love it. He's like, I'm a handsome boy. I noticed in the manga too, in volume 4, Yoon is constantly being like, I'm a handsome boy. Like he makes that like the first introductory phrase to anyone. He's like, just so you know, I'm a prodigy and I'm handsome, and here's the other things I can do. I love that about him. But yeah, so Gigan's giving her this test to prove her trust. And if she passes the test, then they'll help her and in what she wants to do. And I'm sure that she wants to get Kumji out of office or do something. But I'm very curious what this test is going to be. I feel like Yona and Gigan can help each other, but whatever this test is, I'm very curious. So, I don't know, but God, this episode is really good. I feel like a lot of the discussion about the dragon's blood is going to be very intriguing as we go through the manga and we get to explore these characters more in depth with Jiha and Kija especially. But yeah, and I'm glad that our boy Blue, he's fallen with the crew. I feel like we don't get as much time with him, but he's so shy. Like when they took his mask off and he's like, oh, leave me alone. It's like, oh, leave our poor introverted shy boy alone. He doesn't want to talk to any of you. So yeah. These are great. I really, really love episode 17 and 18. I've fangirled so much and my heart is full. So I can't believe we have 5 episodes left. But then we have lots of manga, so I don't feel bad. I'm like, we are far from being over. There's so much more manga to go through after this is over, so I'm pretty excited. But in any case, I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below, what you all thought of this. Please no spoilers, especially about the yellow dragon. The yellow dragon has been spoiled the least, and I'm happy about that because I don't want any hype. I don't want to know. I just want it to be a surprise. But yeah, I'm so excited. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yes, I will be back next week. I'm so excited with episode 19 of Yona of the Dawn. Bye.